Thanks, Goose. All right, guys, let's bend some elements in the Legend of Korra.
Kerry, do the thing!
The Legend of Korra. I think the cartoon may actually be my favourite cartoon of all time, so I was very excited to see how this third-person beat-em-up turned out. You play as the heroine Avatar Korra, who has the ability to manipulate or bend the four main elements: Earth, Fire, Air, and Water.
The story of this game takes place somewhere between books 2 and 3 of the show. The ancient Avatar enemy Hundun is released when Korra opens the portals to the spirit world.
Affirmative, Hex. Hundun plans to unleash chaos on the world, and what's worse is that he has his chi blockers remove Korra's bending.
I'm afraid your bending is blocked, Avatar. You won't be able to fight your way out of this.
Oh, the humanity!
As you progress through the story, you'll slowly regain your bending by unlocking the elements one at a time. This is done by completing a simple challenge while taking on enemies by countering or dodging attacks.
That's it! I've got it!
Yes, and each element has its own moves and combos. Waterbending uses long-range attacks. Earthbending is slow but powerful. Airbending is quick and useful for multiple enemies. And firebending emphasizes speedy close-range attacks. I thought these added some nice variation to the combat, especially when you're changing them up on the fly.
That's correct, Barjo. Each form of bending also comes with both light and heavy attacks. I enjoyed shooting icicles at my enemies. Oh, pew 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 pew! I might add that it is a little slow going unlocking your bending powers. By the time you have all four elements, it's towards the end of the game.
Yeah, that is a good point, Darren, but I thought all the animations for these were just beautiful and the cel-shaded graphics matched the style of the show just perfectly. I had the most success with earthbending. Kicking pillars up and firing them off made me feel like a true earthbender.
I found airbending to be the most effective. It may even be a little overpowered because you can take out so many enemies at once. But that brings me to my biggest issue with the game, the enemies themselves.
Yes, you'll be facing wave after wave of the same recycled enemies.
So many chi blockers, Darren.
Down with the Avatar!
It quickly became tedious grinding through all of these enemies. It just became a bit of a chore.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Barjo. Those mecha tank enemies were just as annoying. To take out just one of them took me almost 10 minutes. It felt like I was doing barely any damage against them. Even with the different types of bending, it just made no difference.
Yeah, I actually thought I was fighting them the wrong way because I was doing so little damage. It is possible to counter their charge attacks, which does deal more damage, but it's still tedious work.
And once you take down the first one, you think it's over, but unfortunately this is not the case. The game keeps throwing mecha tanks at you again and again.
Yeah, I thought the difficulty spiked quite suddenly too, almost rage quit worthy.
Affirmative. This plotline is also completely separate from the show and is broken up by some simple and dull cutscenes.
Hello?
I like that it has its own plotline, but barely any characters from the show make an appearance. Chinora does pop up here and there as a guide, and you can buy items from Iroh in the shop, but there is minimal interaction with both of them.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Barjo. Mako and Belina are literally in the game for 10 seconds right at the beginning.
I hope you're not too rusty for this, bro. Me?
The opening bell.
Whoa!
And there go Mako and Bolin. Now it's 3-on-1.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Although Naga, your polar bear dog companion, is in the game. You'll be controlling her in an endless running type minigame.
That's right, Hex. Here your objective is to avoid, slide, and jump over obstacles in your way. Naga will slowly increase her speed, which can make for some disorientating gameplay.
It does whip you around corners pretty quickly. I found that quite challenging, but also unfair. What do you think overall, Hex?
Well, we finished the main campaign in about 5 to 6 hours, and it is only $15, so there are some Avatar Avatar fans out there that might enjoy it for that price. But it just feels like they've tried to pad it out and increase the difficulty with things like endless runner missions, and they aren't that fun, so I'm giving it 6 out of 10.
Yes, I think this is a big missed opportunity. There's so many great fighting mechanics in the Avatar series that would work so well for video games. But most importantly, Korra is all about story, and there's just not much story here, so I'm going to give it 5.
All right, it's time for you two to practice your word bending at the Ask Good Game desk.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I did there? Yeah. I made a reference to a thing.
Good job!
Oh, thank you, thank you.